I'll take some guests now. First person on the list, I believe, is Sully. Can you hear me, Sully? Are you there? Test.
Yeah, I can hear you.
How's it going?
I'm going,
It's good.
doing good.
You have been like a staff member on the Discord for like ever, right? Literally forever.
Forever, roughly,
Okay.
give or take a few evers.
Okay. Okay, that's cool. So, actually, have we ever talked on the podcast before? I don't remember.
We talked once, and I think that was in August.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we start from scratch? I know what religion you are, but let's go through it for the audience. You're a Quaker, right?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about it. Like, how did you become a Quaker? Have you always been? What was it like growing up that way?
Well, being a Quaker is different, especially because I grew up in the liberal tradition of
Mm,
Quakerism, not like an evangelical or conservative
mm,
one. So it was very much just like any other one.
right.
You can do pretty much all the like since you're surrounded by people who are like also very like liberal,
Hmm.
some are secular, some are atheists. It's very inclusive and very not restrictive at all.
Right. What
So I
what is it like? Tell me about the service, because one time I did a Quaker video, but it ended up getting like taken down for one reason or another. So, what is it like to go to a Quaker service? What's it all about?
Quaker service is very simple. We go to my meeting hall. We go to at 10:30 in the morning. You can be there a little early. They like sing and before it. Then you go in and you sit in silence for an hour. Some people read, but most people just sit in complete silence for the hour. Some will raise and they'll give what's called testimony, where they talk about something that's coming to them. It's sort of speaking in the spirit is what it's traditionally, stuff like that. And
Okay.
that goes on for an hour until a designated clerk basically announces that it's over and does announcements and other things.
Interesting. So you say some people will read and stuff. Do they accept the Bible? Like, do they use the Bible at all, or?
Some do, some
Hmm.
don't. Our my meeting hall has a library that has books from various different religions. We have a couple of translations of the Bible. We have I think we have a Talmud, which I never picked one up, but I think that's just the first couple of books of the Bible.
Mm.
Um, there is a Quran. There's a few Buddhist things in there as well.
Really?
Hmm.
So they're not like really super exclusive toward the Bible, then, I guess.
Not that I know of.
Mm.
One book I picked up from that library actually pulls from the Bible, um, a Buddhist text that I'm blanking. It's been about a year since I've read it.
Mm.
And then another one which is a Hindu text.
So what was it like growing up in the church? I mean, you grew up that way, didn't you?
Yes.
What was that all about? Like, I guess your parents were Quakers, right?
No, actually, my dad's an atheist and
Okay.
still is. My mom was non-practicing. We occasionally went, but she was more just a non-practicing Christian who just liked how free it was, for lack of
Okay.
better phrasing.
That's fair enough. I know that I went to, I think, the SSA convention a little while back. I think it was like last July or something. And there was a guy that was walking around. Bear in mind, this is an atheist conference, and he's a Quaker, and he's got like a shirt, I think, that said like free thinking Quaker or something like that. So I've noticed that a lot of the times Quakers will kind of fraternize with the atheist community a little bit. Maybe that's the right word for it. The Quaker community fraternizes with the atheist community. I'm not sure if that's right or not.
I mean, I would say it's correct. My own meeting hall has a an atheist meeting that meets once a month.
Right? So
Hmm.
you're pretty happy with Quakerism in general?
Yeah,
Do you believe in God
fulfilling.
personally?
I believe in a concept. I don't put like I don't put a definition as like a ethereal sky father that looks over us and will, you know, manipulate the world. I have like a
Right.
concept, but a very loose concept of it.
Okay. All right. That's fair enough. What about your family? Is your family religious now?
My dad's still an atheist, and my
Mm.
mom is still a non-practicing, kind of practicing Christian. My grandmother, my grandparents, they go to a Church of Christ church now down in North Carolina.
How are your feelings about religion more generally now? Like having become an adult and everything and seeing how things play out. What do you think of religion for the most part, just overall?
I'm a very critical person.
Mm. Right.
um, as I actually write for a newspaper on a Catholic campus. I go to a Catholic school for
Oh,
my
okay.
university. And I've actually openly criticized the Catholic Church. I've openly criticized the Methodist Church. I've criticized the Mormon Church
Right.
in the newspaper, which has gotten me like in trouble a few
Has it
times.
really? That's interesting. You need to tell me about that. What happened?
There was like, okay, so first article that really criticized Catholic Church was when the Catholic Church had that massive sex scandal
Right.
last year when it came out about what happened in Pennsylvania.
Right. I remember.
And the so I wrote an article basically like laying out like, look, this is a big problem, and the Pope failed in this regard, the bishops failed in this regard.
Right.
um and the university, not the university at first, but the local diocese came to the university president, because it's a
Oh
Catholic
God.
school,
Yeah.
and said, you really need to rein in this newspaper. You need to get someone on staff to actually go through and look at these papers, basically look into censoring it for anti-Catholic bias.
Oh, that's insane. So what did they say to you? Like, did they tell you that you need to cool it?
They didn't talk to me directly. They talked to my editor in chief,
Uh,
who, and this is great, he was a Catholic his entire life, was a choir boy for how many years,
mm.
and he basically told them to go shove it.
Oh, that is awesome. God, that's great. I don't know, like you gotta be accepting of criticism. Sometimes that's just how things go. I understand that they didn't want that stuff to get out, but I remember the stuff you're talking about, and it was ugly. It needed to
Well, yeah,
get out.
and the thing is that it's very rare, because the university I go to is in Pennsylvania. That's still anonymous. There's lots of Catholic campuses in Pennsylvania, and so it was like very irrelevant, because you might know someone
Mm,
who got involved in that, who was involved in that.
right.
So it's important to talk about, in
Yeah,
my opinion.
it is. It's extremely important to talk about. So I am glad that you ended up covering that. I'm glad that you don't give a shit, hold people's feet to the fire one way or another. I feel like that's pretty important. Anyway, yeah, I appreciate you coming on and talking to me. And again, thank you for being like a staff member for so long and helping out with everything. I absolutely could not have done this without you. Seriously, could not have. So thank you again for helping me out with everything.
It's okay. And you could have, just not as well.
Right? All right, I'll take that. Could have, just not as
Okay.
well. All right, I'll talk to you later on. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. I couldn't have. I couldn't have done it. Maybe there are some other people around who would have been willing to help, but you were the one here who was willing to help, not them. So, and there are others here who were willing to help too. And by the way, I just want to mention there's continuing to be a super chat war right now. Omega Riley evened it out, so it was an even number that was donated. He donated $4. So 246 was such a weird number, I couldn't let it stay. I've literally never in my life gotten this many super chats before. Then Cajun Crustacean donated $3 and said, now it's odd again. And then Cardboard said, now I have to even this out, and donated 47 more. And then the Beaver Labs donated $1, so it's uneven again. Cajun Crustacean donated $3.33. Seriously, Cardboard, add me as a friend on Discord. You are now a good buddy of mine. Red Boy too, both of you. Okay, let's go. Yeah, both of you add me on Discord as friends. That's insane. Holy shit, guys. Next person on the list. Seriously, like, YouTube has really been fucking me over with views lately. on my main channel. So the fact that you guys are donating super chats is actually very extremely legitimately helpful. So thank you so much for all of the help. Now, next person on the list is Bale. I'm going to start. I'm going to stop. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm going to start gushing over you guys for a second and move on to the next person, which is Bale. Let me unmute. Can you hear me, Bale? Test?
Yep, I can hear you.
How's it going?
Good, good. It's going good.
That's good to hear. So we haven't talked on here before, have we? I don't think we have.
No, not on the podcast, no.
Okay, so tell me what religion you were originally. Are you still religious, or?
Um, I'm not religious, no. I've never really truly been religious, I guess. But I used to sort of be a Christian
Okay.
back when I was younger. Yeah.
Did your parents grow, or were your parents religious, like when you were growing up? Do you know what denomination it was?
Um, my father was, but my mom never really was. I think is Methodist.
Methodist.
I
Okay,
can't
interesting.
remember.
How
Yeah.
how extreme was it? Like, do you remember any kind of extremeness or anything like that? Like people just doing really crazy stuff, or what was it like?
No.
None of that, really?
Um,
Pretty
no,
chill?
I mean, yeah, and I don't remember much of it since we kind of moved away from anywhere with a bunch of churches about 10 years ago, and we've been stuck here for about 10 years, and
Mm,
there's really nowhere for them to go. And my dad, he's in Texas now, so
right.
we don't go to church at all anymore.
Interesting. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that I always
Yeah.
kind of hated going to church. Well, they called it going to the meetings. I did not like it. It was boring, you
Yeah.
know?
I never particularly enjoyed going to church either because I used to hate having to wear nice clothes for
Yeah.
one, and waking up that early in the morning was just not
Yeah, it was
did
awful.
not enjoy. I still hate waking up early in the
Same.
morning.
Seriously, it's so
But
bad. What are your thoughts on God and things now? Like, do you have any opinions on it? Do you believe in God now, or?
I I've never really believed in God, to be honest, and I don't think I ever I don't think I ever will. But
Mm,
I think that if, and this is a big if, there ever was one, I think either it died, it doesn't care, or it's not benevolent at
right?
all.
It's either evil or not all powerful or just doesn't care at all,
Yeah,
pretty much.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or it died somewhere along the way.
That could be too. I mean, there are so many possibilities with it that people are just
Yeah.
not considering because it's kind of outside of the ideas that they have of God in the first place. Like, what? God can't die, but what kind of God are we talking about, right? I mean, it is
Right.
possible that that's an option, right?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to hear people try to spin up stories about their version of God or what they believe about God. It's really
Yeah.
fascinating to hear it. But at the same time, it's kind of disappointing in its own way that it's got such a stranglehold on people and on society, you know?
Yeah, yeah. But I kind of know that's like because where I live, a lot of people here are religious, right? We actually have quite a few Jehovah's Witnesses places
Oh, really?
scattered throughout my town. Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting.
My Latin teacher is a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What kind of interactions have you had with them about it? Do you remember any?
Um, I I don't really bring up religion at all, and I'm
Mm,
normally the quiet kid in class anyway.
sure, I
So,
was too. By the way, what grade are you in now? Do you want to
oh,
say?
I'm going into my senior year. Summer break started today.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
yeah, so this is the first day in roughly a month where I didn't have to wake up early for some random stuff.
That's so great. You know, when I was a software engineer for a while. In fact, for like 6 years or something, I was in software engineering. And just, I think probably it was in August, maybe July or August, I ended up going full time with YouTube. And so at that point, you think to yourself, I don't have to get up early anymore, right? But no, I did. I still had to get up early as sin because I had to drive my daughter to school and get her ready for school and everything. So no matter what, for at least until she's 18, I'm going to be getting up early as sin still. It's worth it though. Oh, just one day at a time,
Yep.
It's hard to get up that early sometimes, but at least I'm not getting up that early on Sundays. That's something.
Like with me, when it comes to waking up early in the morning, I have to set an alarm a half hour before I want to actually wake up.
Yep.
Because it takes me half an hour to force myself out of bed.
Yep. Yep. I do the same thing. I actually set my alarm for like 7, and then I set another alarm for like 7:08 and then 7:13, and I just like at a certain point I keep hitting snooze so much that it's just like an alarm goes off every 2 minutes until I get up. And I'm supposed to be up at like 7:20, 7:30, somewhere in there, so yeah.
Well, I wake up, well, I'm supposed to wake up at like 5:30-ish in the morning.
Oh god, it's so early.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, but main reason why is because when I get up and everything, right, I got to take care of the dogs because we have 3 of them.
Right.
And then I also have to make myself breakfast or something, which is normally just like a pot of coffee because that's totally healthy.
Right.
I
drink a lot of coffee too.
I've actually been getting more into energy drinks recently than coffee because it doesn't take any time to get an energy drink, whereas it takes time to make coffee. Yeah.
That is very true. It's a lot more convenient, but I don't know. Like
they're also way worse for you.
That's true. And I've also developed a taste for coffee. So there's just something like, it's kind of like beer. Like I never developed a taste for beer. I just don't like it, but I did develop a taste for coffee. So as bitter as it tastes usually, it's still really just, there's something really appealing about the flavor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to describe, but I do love coffee.
When it comes to coffee, though, so during the winter months, they do the peppermint mocha creamer, right?
Yeah.
So, like, during winter, I get a ton of the peppermint mocha creamers because that's my favorite kind of flavor for coffee. So I just keep it in the fridge. Boom. I got enough for a year.
There you go.
But here's the issue with that, right?
Yeah.
My little brother, he likes to drink the creamer by itself.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That would be a weird flavor. I couldn't do it.
I've tried it before. It's just the strongest peppermint flavor you will ever have.
I imagine it's got to taste like just pure sugar.
Yeah, kind of.
That's crazy. I used to have this espresso machine where you would it would just put out like concentrated coffee, and then you'd mix it 50-50 with creamer and then fluff it and stuff. It was really, really good, but I don't know. I just like the flavor of straight coffee now. Maybe it's because I'm getting old. I don't know. I'm 29 and I just love the flavor of coffee. It's awesome.
Have you ever had cold brew coffee?
I have, yeah. And sometimes I go to Starbucks and I'll get some types of cold brews. Like I've had frappuccinos and stuff. Is that the kind of cold brew you're working with?
Well, no. We make our own cold brew here every now and then, right?
Right.
And so it takes a little bit of time for that to work. It takes like a day or two to get it right and really strong.
Right.
But it's also really good.
Right? I may have to try that one of these days. I'm a coffee connoisseur at this point. I love coffee, but anyway, appreciate you coming on and talking to me. It's been an interesting conversation, and maybe we'll talk to you again one of these days, okay?
Yep, alrighty.
All right, thanks, man. Yeah, it's pretty cool talking to you. Petwin, are you there? Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going good.
That's good. So I saw a second ago you said that your body is going numb. Is your body no longer numb?
I'm nervous. That's funny.
So tell me, what religion were you originally? Are you still religious or no?
I'm technically not really religious anymore, and in reality, kind of like the same with Bale. I wasn't really ever that religious, but the one religion where I really did like constantly go to a religion is
Mm.
like the one where I was constantly in religion was Judaism because that was my dad's side of the family, and that's when I went to synagogue for 2 years, and then
Okay.
once it came to getting like bar mitzvah stuff, it wasn't in my schedule because of school and everything. So
Right.
like,
Interesting. So you grew up Jewish, is what you're saying, and
well,
you did you say you did get bar mitzvahed or no?
no, I didn't because
Okay.
I never got taught. But actually, it was more of like for the first 5 years of my life, I actually had no religion introduced to me, but I was
Mm.
told at a young age that when I was old enough, I could choose religion because
Right.
my mom's side of the family was Christian, meanwhile my dad's side of the family was Jewish.
So you said that your dad was Jewish, but your mom was Christian?
Yeah, actually, my dad's technically an atheist because he doesn't actually believe in religion. That's something that I learned later on, like
Mm.
about a couple of years. And he'd like made hints about it like for years now, but
Mm.
he just straight up came out about it like a couple of years.
That's super interesting to me because from my understanding, which is limited, I thought that typically in Judaism you had to marry in to become Jewish, and it had to be the
No,
mother.
my mom and dad were both. I mean, my mom and dad were never married.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and the main reason why I started going to church was because my mom had passed away. So then it
Mm.
ended up being like I was my dad's side of the family, so that's why.
Sure. I see.
And the only reason why I stopped going is because they ended up having like the school to like learn more Hebrew and stuff to for the bar mitzvah was
Mm.
on Wednesdays, and my school it got out at 3, and like the lessons were like before then. Well, I was still in school, so I couldn't do that.
Sure.
So that's kind of why.
I see. That's super fascinating. So, did you grow up with kind of a Jewish background then? Like, did you learn about Judaism and things?
Yeah, I did. Like I remember I went to like I remember that I specifically did like I went and learned like I remember that when I was like around 6 to like 8 I learned some Hebrew and stuff and other things,
Right.
stories and all.
Interesting. So,
Mhm.
I guess you could say you grew up with the culture then, but you didn't really grow up so much with the religion?
Yeah, kind of more of like the culture. And one of the things was because my mom's side of the family was Christian, my dad's side was Jewish. I got to both have Hanukkah and Christmas. So I
Right.
had the presents and then also Christmas, where I got to open up one of my presents on Christmas Eve and then all of that.
Oh,
I
that is
had both of
awesome.
them.
So, you got Christmas and
Yeah.
Hanukkah then?
Yeah, I still get both, but getting older, it's like less gifts for them.
Yeah. So what was Hanukkah like? Like, tell me about because I don't know much about it. I had a buddy I worked with who was Jewish, and he gave me a little bit of a rundown. But what happens with it?
Uh, well, what my family does is like usually, for most of the days, it's just like with my dad and then like a couple other family members who like live nearby,
Right.
like close by,
Hmm.
and we get like the menorah and we light the candles for like whichever night, and then we sing like the prayer for it, and
Mm.
then it's just like kind of just that more or less.
Right.
And there might be like a small gift or something like because like each of my family members basically just one of my family members each just give me gifts for those nights. Then one of the nights it's where like all of my dad's side like a lot of my dad's side of the family like we all like meet up on one of the nights and kind of do like this big thing where we all like give out presents and stuff. Like it's
Right.
almost like a miniature Christmas kind of, but it's just like for one night out of the 9. It Yeah, it's a lot of it's a lot of fun. But recently I haven't been able to go to them because I'm either at my grandma's because a lot of the time Hanukkah also happens when there's Thanksgiving, so I'm over at my mom's side of the family
Aw.
for Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So you've talked a little bit about like different traditions and stuff. What kinds of traditions do you have for Christmas? Like, did you ever play any kind of Christmas games or anything like that?
I mean, we never really had specific games. My cousins and I, we just like hang out and stuff
Right.
a lot of the
Interesting.
time, and then we just like open up our presents, and then like on Christmas Eve, we'd open one of our presents,
Yeah, they did
And
something similar with like. So obviously, I grew up Jehovah's Witness. I didn't celebrate Christmas, but now I have my daughter's family. They do celebrate Christmas, and that's kind of the same thing they do. Like you open one present on Christmas Eve, and but we also play like different games on Christmas Eve. Like they'll play gag gifts. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one. Have you ever heard of that?
no, I haven't. It's just with my family, we just more of like talk about stories and stuff, more or less.
Right. That's fair. I mean, that sounds like a good time, right? Storytelling and things like that.
I actually have a close friend of mine who I've known for like over half my life.
Hmm.
Since I remember since I was 6 and being 14 now. I've known her for a while. She's actually Mormon.
Mormon,
And
really?
yeah. I met her when like I moved when I was around 6 when I moved into the neighborhood. I met her one day and then we just like we I would go to her house because she was right next door. And we're really good friends.
That's interesting. What, like, have you noticed like Mormonism kind of showing itself in your relationship in any way, or has it pretty much just stayed on the back burner?
I mean, yeah, I have noticed it in like certain things
Mm,
because yeah, I've noticed it before with like certain things,
yeah.
like it's just like a lot of like things where like I've also noticed it with like her family members. In fact, I actually remember like one of the things was like every like Tuesday they would like not every Tuesday but like 2 times a month on a Tuesday they would like there would be like this activity day thing that she would go to.
Yeah.
And she sometimes took me with her. In fact, I remember one of the things was that she invited me to her church, and I went because I thought, hey, it means more time hanging out with my friend.
Right.
It was the most fun thing I ever had to experience.
I guess
I
it was a Mormon activity then, right?
Yeah, it was really great.
Yeah. I've heard that
And
Mormons are really big on activities and events and things like that.
my cousin who got married into the family with
Hmm.
her with my aunt being one who was married in,
Yeah.
they're Mormon too, and then my cousin ended up getting adopted by them too, my other cousin where they became siblings. Yeah, I remember one time I was forced to go to church with them. I didn't want to after experiencing one time because I
Right.
one went with my friend. The only thing that made it easier was that I already knew some of the people there because a lot of them went to my school and all.
Yeah.
But then when I went with my cousins, I only knew my cousins basically, and it was just as boring but more awkward. Yeah, it's just one of the things is like it's just really boring going to like a Mormon church and like going
Yeah.
through everything. It's really boring.
You can hear me, right? Did I lose you? I think I may have. It's too bad. I think I may have lost Petwen. Yeah, I did. I lost Petwen. Well, that was a really interesting story at any rate. And it's near the end of the podcast anyways, so we're going to move on. But Petwen, I appreciate you coming on and talking to me. Like I said, I am going to move on. That is the end of the podcast. I appreciate you guys coming on and giving this a listen, and I will talk to you next week.